Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're set and ready to go. The Eastern Ontario Vintage Stock Car Club will be up first, the first of two heats in the 70s and 80s. And our Chief Director of Traffic Control is going to be one Mr. Santa Claus.
And I guarantee you this will be one of the best starts you ever saw, because he'll know who's out there. And come Christmas time, he'll say, I remember that start.
Absolutely. I just hope he's got the hat on. First caution flag to get the hat off the racetrack. But first heat of these 70s and 80s cars, and Jamie, you have been looking forward to these machines, and you've actually toured around a little bit with some of these cars and seen them at various racetracks, haven't you?
Sure have, and it brings back an awful lot of memories, ladies and gentlemen, to see these cars in this class. But when I started out, it was the group from the 60s and 70s for me. And my first race was in 1966.
Right.
And my grandfather brought me to it. And then my second one was after we moved over. And I lived about 4 houses down from the man next to me.
That's true.
That's when I went to my second one with him and his grandmother.
And look what happened after that. Just never stopped.
It never stopped after that. I couldn't get enough of it.
Hey, Tim Hagerty's here tonight. Not with the fire suit on. He's playing the role of car owner tonight. Ryan's going to be behind the wheel of his Ovid Dwaron lookalike car. Good to see Tim Hagerty here tonight. Keeping Brian on his toes up here. See, he's right there. Yep, there he is. We'll keep an eye on him, don't worry. Well, the first heat rolling trackside. And Jamie Davis has the call of heat race number 1. Mr. Davis, the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you very much, Tim Bolts, and we're ready to go with a throwback to the years of when the cars looked like this when they rolled out at Can-Am International Speedway. On the pole, the number 54 of Kyle Grundy. Kyle out of Cars, Ontario. On the outside will go the 10 of Paul Billings out of Ottawa. Row number 2 will go the 9W of Wayne Riddell out of Cardinal, Ontario. And on the outside, Jason Riddell in the number 9, also out of Cardinal. And on the inside will go the 71G in the third row of Ian Gordon out of Kingston, Ontario. And on the outside, the 84 of Steve Belling in the Dave Hayslip lookalike car.
Billings family well represented in this heat race. You got Paul on the outside of row number 1. You got Steve Billings on the outside of row number 3. And then you got the father-son duo in row number 2 with Wayne, the dad, Jason, the defending race winner, the son.
And when the next group comes out from the 1960s and 70s, you'll see the R&B jet car number 22 that Benzil Billings piloted, and I remember when that car ran at Watertown. It's one of the first ones I saw.
Yeah, it was a fast car then. It's still a fast car now. So we're ready to go. 6 laps of distance, Jamie.
All right, they head down the backstretch. Pace truck will be pulling off. We're ready. Santa's ready. He's going to look them over. Kyle Grundy and Paul Billings on that front row. And Riddell, and 3 of them stacked up there as they head down the backstretch. And now we're going to try 3 of them across the track. Riddell with a big move down on the inside part of the speedway, right down the middle, and he will take that lead as he comes off the turn. Wayne Riddell out in front. Paul Billings rides there in the number 2 spot. Steve Belling trying to find some racing room back there in that last spot. But as they head into the number 3 and 4 turn, it's Riddell up in front as they come down the front straightaway. Paul Billings is right there in the number 2 spot. A 71G of Ian Gordon right there in the number 3 spot. Then the 84 of Steve Billings. As they come around, and Riddell opening things up here with about a 6 to 7 car length lead. And the battle is on for that number 2 spot with the number 10 of Paul Billings right there. Side-by-side racing action with Ian Gordon out of Kingston, Ontario. Gordon gets a bit of an edge as he gets into that number 3 turn first. But Riddell is on his way, and there is no waiting around for the number 9G. Still Ian Gordon right there in the number 2 spot. Paul Billings right there in second. Then comes the 84 of Steve Billings. Steve trying to look for some racing room if he can find it to get by the number 10 of Paul Billings, but he can't quite do it. White flag is coming out for Riddell, and he is definitely on his way. Jason Riddell up in front. He's got about an 8-car length lead over his nearest competitor, Ian Gordon, in that 17 in the number 2 spot. Checkered flag coming out, ladies and gentlemen. And in his first heat, it'll be Jason Riddell out of Cardinal, Ontario, will win it. Ian Gordon will get the number 2 spot. Paul Billings will finish in 3rd. Steve Billings will get 4th. And Wayne Riddell will finish in the number 5 spot. But ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice hand for the number 9 of Jason Riddell? Heat number 2 will be coming out of the Speedway. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, here's Tim Balls. Tim?
Thank you very much, Jamie. Great call on heat race number 1 for the Eastern Ontario Vintage Stock Car Club. Heat race number 2, ready to roll trackside, and here's how they are going to line up. Randy Gaudet, 3-time winner in this series in the 96. He's on the pole. Outside will be Gavin Riddell in the 9G. Row number 2, the 79 of Chris Hale. Chris out of Napanee, Ontario, Canada, with Ryan Hegarty out of Kingston in car number 40. Completing your field in car number 73 is out of Athens, Ontario, Canada. That is Josh Powers. Josh Powers aboard car number 73. Bob Johnson Auto Group, a pace truck on track. Beautiful Am Speedway logo on the side of that as well. Of course, these cars, they run here tonight. They'll take a break tomorrow and have some downtime. Then they'll head to the Cornwall Motor Speedway for the 2nd time this season. Again, Jason Riddell is the defending race winner in the 70s and 80s class. The 50s and 60s division last year was won by Greg Hale. Greg actually had to stop by my house to pick up his trophy because he left the Speedway and forgot it.
How do you forget a trophy?
I was wondering that myself. I called Greg up. I says, "You missing something from Can-Am?" He goes, "Oh my goodness, I don't have my trophy." He says, "Because I got to prove to everybody that I won here." I said, "Well, you're on live television."
Yeah, that's why I can't figure out why somebody, how can you forget a trophy at a racetrack? That's kind of hard.
Greg Hale's a veteran. He should know better by now.
Well, he had it in his hand in Victory Lane. Now, how did he forget it?
I don't know. I had no idea. No, I think they give it to him down there at the payoff window.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
all
we
right.
have a stunt double trophy down there that year,
okay.
So that was the reason why. Well, it's understandable. It's okay. I forgave Greg for that.
Yeah, I guess I can forgive him. I think
Yeah.
if you told that story to somebody, how do you forget your trophy?
That's how it happens. So, as John Burr used to say, we have a minor dirt alert over there in turn number 3 right now, so we're going to tend to that.
Yeah, it looked like a couple of things on the racetrack there. There might have been something come off one of the cars, and you don't want to leave that in the middle of the track, especially if somebody runs over it and you happen to be the car behind it and it flies up and gets you.
Absolutely, I've seen that in the past, that's for sure. But hopefully they got it all cleaned up over there, it looks like, so we should be good to go, I think. Once again, got to thank the good folks, Fabco of Watertown, and the good folks at Thomas Trash Service. They are located over there in the pavilion. They got a section roped off just for the fine crew over there, and glad to have Nate and Dan over there representing Fabco and Thomas Trash Service. They're on hand with us tonight. So we talked about them earlier. We'll talk about them a little later on as well. 6 laps is the issue as we get set to go. Randy Gaudet on the point in the 96. Gavin Riddell alongside. Gavin Riddell, of course, the grandson to Wayne Riddell and the son to previous heat winner Jason Riddell. So he's looking to keep the 70s and 80s heats in the family. As we're set to go, Bob Johnson Auto Group pace truck heads off to Speedway in turn number 3. Randy Gaudet out of the corner. Green lights are on and we're underway. Randy Gaudet has a win here at the Am Speedway. That was all the way back in the 2001 season in a sportsman car. And he's got the lead down the back straightaway. Gavin Riddell giving chase from the 2 spot. Chris Hale, former street stock competitor, holding on to position number 3, just purchased this car recently and got it into the vintage ranks and is running 3rd at the moment. Josh Powers heading up into turn number 1 and 2. He's got the 4 spot. Ryan Hegarty, who jumps in this car from time to time, holds on to position number 5. But Randy Gaudet showing you why he's one of the top drivers in this Eastern Ontario Vintage Division, holding on to the lead as we got a battle between Hale and Powers for the 3 spot. As they come back down to the line, Powers will take the position away as they head up into turn number 1 and 2. Working in lap number 1, Randy Gaudet, he is checked out. He has left the town of Orleans. He has gone to the next county right now. Half a straightaway advantage over the battle for second, which is a good one. Gavin Riddell on that high lane. Josh Powers down low. Gavin trying to make some room up on the top side to run away from Powers, but it's not going to happen. Josh Powers to the number 2 position as we work in lap number 3. 6 laps is the distance. 50s and 60s qualifying heat will be coming up very shortly, as right now Randy Gaudet trying to run away and hide, and he's doing a good job of that right now with 2 laps left to go. Gaudet, straightaway advantage right now. Josh Powers, who made the jump a couple of years ago to the Dirt Car Sportsman ranks, picked up a couple of feature wins, decided that he wanted to go back and run in the vintage class, and kept on winning last year. So Josh Powers is going to be a threat for the feature win later on tonight for sure. But this driver right here, Randy Gaudet of the white flag, has got a huge lead on the field. Jumped out right from the drop of the green flag. It has not relinquished it since. Down the back straightaway, full straightaway advantage over Josh Powers. And barring anything major happening, Randy Gaudet is going to come by and collect the win in dominant fashion in heat race number 2. Gaudet, your winner. Second will go your top 5. How about it, ladies and gentlemen, for Randy Gaudet, winner in heat race number 2. Well, one and only heat for the 50s and 60s class. And Jamie Davis, I'll turn it back over to you for the call for this one.
All right, thank you, Tim. 3rd heat for the Eastern Ontario Vintage Stock Car Club coming out onto the Speedway, the 50s and 60s version. The 60s part of it is when I first started going, and this is great calling this race. And it seems fitting in this 50th anniversary.
Hey, why not, right?
At Can-Am.
Yep.
Yeah. Moving on out of the Speedway, on the pole, the number 6 out of Gananoque, Ontario, that's Jeff Cledgett. Cledgett in the 6. On the outside will go the 13 of Joe Hilts. Joe out of Kempville, Ontario. Inside, row number 2 will go the 72 of Dwayne Emon out of Calabogie, Ontario. And on the outside, the 28G of Greg Hale. Greg out of Napanee. Row number 3 on the inside will go the number 12 of Tim Charland. Tim out of Merrickville, Ontario. And on the outside, the B22 of Randy Simkins. Randy out of Brockville. And in that final starting spot, driving the 38 Junior tonight, that's Benzil Billings Jr. Benzil Billings Jr. in the 38 Junior. As your lineup, ladies and gentlemen, for the 50s and 60s group of the Eastern Ontario Vintage Stock Car Club. Here they come off that number 4 turn. Green flag is out and we're racing. And Cledgett takes that early lead, but he's feeling some heat from the outside from Joe Hilts. Hilts trying to move in there as they head down the backstretch. Greg Hale is right there, the number 3 spot. Side-by-side racing action as they head into that number 3 and 4 turn. As they come off the turn, it's between Cledgett and Hilts for that number 1 spot. And it looks like Cledgett will have that lead, but a slick move by Greg Hale to take over the number 2 spot. And now, Hale wants to go up to the number 1 position out there as Cledgett has got his hands full. Around they come. And it is still Cledgett up in front. Hilts on the outside, or on the inside there, as they head down the backstretch. Jeff Cledgett trying to hang on to that number 1 spot. He's had a couple of threats throughout this heat, but they're coming around the halfway mark. Hale is right there in the number 2 spot. And side. Hale on the inside, and Hale out of Napanee trying to take that number 1 spot away, and it looks like he's going to do it. But Cledgett is getting a nice bite on the outside trying to come back, and he can't quite do it. Hale hanging tough on the inside part of that racetrack as they come off the turn. And white flag is out for Joe Hilts out of Kempville, Ontario. Jeff Cledgett is right there in the number 2 spot. Greg Hale still in front. Checkered flag coming out, and Hale will get it. Cledgett will get the number 2 spot. All right, another qualifying heat coming out of Speedway, and once again, here's Tim Baltz.
Thank you so much, Jamie, as we get set to go. Heat race number 1 for the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman. Haily Brownell in the 747 on the point with Brady Howard, a 2-time winner this year in the 54. Row number 2 is going to find the number 401. That is going to be Joseph Fargo. Joe Fargo in car number 401K. Outside of that row will be the 33B Brianna Murtaugh. Final row in the number 9, 6-time winner this year, Logan Brown in the number 9. Alongside of him, Scott Countryman in car number 2. 6 cars ready to go. 6 laps is the distance tonight. And we got a bit of a switch there in the heat race. Scott Countryman is actually supposed to be going in heat race number 2. He's scheduled to go on the outside pole in heat 2. So
number 2 is not in this feature, this heat. Only 2.
So far this season in the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman, Logan Brown kicked it off the first 2 weeks with 2 wins in a row, April 26th and May the 3rd. Brady Howard on May 17th. Logan Brown finished out the month of May on the 24th and 31st with 2 in a row. Then he started off the month of June with a win on the 7th, or his 5th of the year. Brady Howard on June 14th. Genevieve Bartlett career win number 1 on June 21st. Logan Brown 1 week ago on July 19th. So we're set to go. 5 cars ready to go. 6 laps is the distance. First of 2 heats in the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman Division. Green flag will come out off of turn number 4. Can-Am Speedway pace truck from Bob Johnson Auto Group ready to go. Heat winners so far this season. Brady Howard has 3. Genevieve Bartlett has 2, as does Camden Cook. Logan Brown may have 6 feature wins, but he's got 1 heat win this season that came back on May the 24th. So he's going to roll from 5th Off of turn number 4, green lights are not going to be displayed. Haily Brownell a little bit early on the start. So we're going to go back to caution. The yellow flag is out on the racetrack. We'll try that again. Turn 4 is where everybody's supposed to start. Coming up after the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman, we are going to have the first heat in the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds. Then we'll go with the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman Heats and the Sundance Leisure Thunder Cars as well. Again, want to thank the good folks at Thomas Trash Service, Nate and their entire crew there, and of course Dan from Fabco, his crew also in attendance tonight. They're all down there at the pavilion, the VIP area, hooting it up and having a good time. We hope you're having a good time here tonight. Great crowd on here at the Can-Am Speedway. And those of you watching live on Dirt Track Digest Television, welcome wherever you may be watching from. Green lights are back on, a little better start. And away we go. As right now, Brady Howard jumps into the lead. Haily Brownell right there with him down the back straightaway. Brianna Murtaugh there for 3rd. Logan Brown 4th, with Fargo completing the top 5 as they spread out through turn number 3 and 4. Brownell washes wide. That's going to open up the door for Logan. Just that, Logan Brown down to the 2 spot. Got some work to do to run down the race leader. Brady Howard starting to check out on the field. He's got about 7 or 8 car lengths over Logan Brown, who holds on to 2nd. Howard looking for his 4th heat win of the season. Back down to the line, 2 down, 4 more to go. His first of 2 heats in the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman. Good battle on for the number 3 spot between Haily Brownell and Brianna Murtaugh as they go at it up off the turn. Brownell trying to hold Murtaugh at bay down the back straightaway. Murtaugh trying to get that inside lane going. Brownell trying to fend her off into turn number 3 and 4. Back to the stripe, no slowing down Brady Howard right now. He's got a comfortable advantage. Logan Brown again holding on to position number 2, not really able to make up any ground on the Howard number 54 at the moment. He'll try to settle in and just cut some good laps and see what he has come feature time. In the meantime, though, Brady Howard looking to extend that lead and looking to try to add to his heat win total. For Logan Brown, 6 wins this season. Brady Howard does have 2. White flag in the air for Brady Howard as he brings it back down to the line. Logan Brown still there in position number 2. Good battle still for position number 3. Haily Brownell and Brianna Murtaugh, they're still dicing it up down the front straightaway. Brownell has it. Murtaugh looking to take it away, but right now off of turn number 3 and 4, no contest up front. Brady Howard, start to finish, he grabs the win in heat race number 1. 2nd will go to Logan. So here comes Brianna Murtaugh making a serious bid for the 3 spot. Not going to get there in time. It'll be Brownell coming home in 3rd. Murtaugh will get 4th, and Joseph Fargo will complete the rest of your field. How about it for the 54, Brady Howard? Well, heat race number 2 for the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman, ready to roll, and Jamie Davis is ready to roll with the call.
Thank you, Tim Baltz, and we're set to go with qualifying heat number 2 for the Doneth Motorworks Limited Sportsman. On the pole, row number 1 on the inside will go the 21 of Gage Howard. Gage out of Chippewa Bay. On the outside will go the number 2 of Scott Countryman. Scott out of Governor. Row number 2 on the inside will go the number 14, Cam the Man Cook out of Evans Mills, New York. And on the outside will go the 11 of Genevieve Bartlett. Genevieve out of Watertown. And in that final starting spot will go the 93H of Josh Hutto out of Harrisville, New York.
Fire together. Keep the pace down, front row. Keep the pace down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here they come. Qualifying heat number 2 for the limited sportsman off that number 4 turn. And down the front straightaway, and Gage Howard will get that early lead.
Oh!
And whoa, we got one around. Caution coming out. And apparently our starter not liking what he saw on that start.
Double back up, drivers, double back up.
Going to make one quick announcement here, Jamie. Of course, our friends at Stop DWI remind everybody to drink responsibly this weekend, have a plan, and to get home safely. And also, the Am Speedway is an official partner of Dirt Empire magazine. Each issue of Dirt Empire is filled with dirt track racing photos, stories, interviews, and more. Dirt Empire magazine is dedicated to dirt track racing, and you can pick up your copy right here at Can-Am, either at the concession stand or the souvenir booth, or you can go right online to dirtempiremagazine.com. Not sure if you're going to find any stories on myself or Jamie in there, but if you do, they might be true.
Oh, it'll be true.
Oh, it'll be true, yeah.
It'll be true, I can tell you that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Turn it back over to you for the call, Jamie.
All right, they regroup and get ready for a start this time around. Gage Howard up in front. Genevieve Bartlett alongside in the number 11. Off that number 4 turn, they come down the front straightaway. Green flag is out, and Gage Howard will take that lead. Genevieve Bartlett right there in the number 2 spot. Cam the man right there in the number 3 slot. Josh Hutto back there in 4th, challenging Cook for that number 3 qualifying spot. And Scott Countryman off the pace of the number 2. Down the front stretch they come. The complete lap number 1. And it's still Gage Howard up in front. Genevieve Bartlett right there in the number 2 spot. Then a gap of 4 back to Josh Hutto in the 93. And Cam Cook is off the pace considerably in the number 14. He may be going pit side. Around they come. Gage Howard up in front. Bartlett holds on to the number 2 spot. Hutto back there in 3rd. And then the 2 of Scott Countryman. Great battle shaping up for the number 1 spot. Gage Howard trying to hang on. Genevieve down on the low side part of the racetrack. Not a lot of racing room down there as they come off the turn. It's still Howard in front. Genevieve Bartlett right there in the number 2 spot. Hutto back there in 3rd. And then the 2 of Scott Countryman. Gage Howard out of Chippewa Bay, New York. Coming around this time, halfway sign will be out. And it's still Howard up in front in the 21. Bartlett right there in the number 2 spot. Hutto back there 3rd. And then the 2 of Scott Countryman. Howard. He's got about a 4 to 5 car length lead over Genevieve Bartlett and the number 11 who still sits there in the number 2 spot. Josh Hutto out of Harrisville. Back there in the number 3 slot. White flag is out this time around for the 21 of Gage Howard out of Chippewa Bay. Gage holding on to that lead. Bartlett's still back there 2nd. Hutto is still 3rd. They'll be coming up on the slower car of the number 2 of Scott Countryman, but I don't think he'll quite come into play. Maybe he will. As they come off the turn with a white flag out, Gage Howard will get underneath and get by very well on that checkered. Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds coming on the track for their first qualifying event. And once again, here's Tim Baltz. Tim?
Thank you very much, Jamie, as we're set to go. Heat number 1 of 2 for the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds. Dan Bouchard on the pole in the 36B along with the 9 of Tyler Meeks. Row number 2 is going to find the 23 of Cameron Black along with the 18 of Scott Webb. Row number 3, the 621 of Brian Hudson along with the 21R of RJ Tressetter. Row number 4, Adam Roberts in car number 63 with Derek Webb in the 66W. And last week's feature winner in car number 45R, currently 4th, the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modified point standings. That is Preston Forbes from Potsdam. Preston Forbes goes from 9th. Can-Am Speedway pace truck from Bob Johnson Auto Group will head to the safe haven of the pits off of turn number 3. Dan Bouchard and Tyler Meeks will lead them to green. Leclerc looks them over. Green lights are on and we're underway. Bouchard goes. As Dan Bichard will lead the way down the backstretch. Top three pulling away then is everybody after R.J. Tresetta for the 4 spot. He's got Cameron Black right there with him. Derek Webb to his outside. Preston Ford's making some moves early here as we click off lap number 1. 36 of Bichard in control. Watch Scott Webb in the 18. He's quick on that bottom side of the racetrack. Meeks trying to make something happen on the top side as they dust up the back straightaway going into turn number 3 and 4. Scott Webb to the 2 spot. Slides up in front of Meeks to pull off the pass as it brings him back down to the line with 2 in the books. Bichard there for second. Webb gets a little out of line there on the bottom, opens the door for Meeks to try to get back behind Tyler Meeks to the runner-up position again down the backstretch as R.J. Tresetta. He's trying to move in and some contact towards the back portion of the field. Adam Roberts, Derek Webb, and Preston Forbes, they all went 3 wide back there, and Roberts will loop it around in turn number 4. Yellow. First of 2 on the night for the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds, and they are getting after it, not just at the front of the field, but also towards the tail end. Scott Webb, Tyler Meeks were having their own battle for the 2 spot, and back behind them, Derek Webb, Adam Roberts, Preston Forbes, they were all at it for position 6, 7, and 8. So Adam Roberts will get the assistance to turn the car the correct direction, and he will join the tail end of the field here as we look to get heat race number 1 in the books. Heat number 2 waiting in the wings over there off of the corner. As we take a look at the heat races this year for the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds, R.J. Tresetta and Tyler Meeks lead the way with 3 heat wins apiece. Dan Bichard, Scott Webb, Derek Webb, Nick Webb, and Andy Howard, they all have 2 heat wins. Franklin Mackin, Preston Forbes, Cameron Black, Remington Ham, Brian Bartlett, Michael Mandigo, Chris Raby, Billy Dunn, Jackson Gill, Lucas Fuller each have a heat win. Tim Fuller does not have a heat win this year, and he's the point leader and a 4-time feature winner. So it appears like if you win a bunch of feature races, you don't really get to win many heat races, and vice versa. So there you go. I'd be okay with that myself, to be honest with you. I'm sure you'd agree with that one too, Jamie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I've seen some guys win 10 or 11 heat races in a season. They only have 1 feature win.
Yeah, getting in those top qualifying positions to transfer, that's really important because then you're handicapped in on that start of the feature, and it's very important to get into those transfer spots.
Definitely. Well, right now, Adam Roberts, I don't think he's going to be able to fire off here, so he is going to head back to the pits. Great crowd on hand here tonight at Can-Am. Timmy Baltz and Jamie Davis joining me for his annual appearance. The soiree, as they say, I guess that's what they call it. Does that make sense?
Well, heavy on the annual. I got off to a little bit of a slow start. That last one was a lot better. I get better as I get warmer.
Once you get dialed in, well, it's supposed to be, because, you know, it was kind of like your hot lap session and then your heat races and all that stuff. You're still trying to dial it in. A couple rounds of wedge, you'll be good.
I was just going to say that. We make a few adjustments. I ought to be all set for the feature.
Well, your crew chief has left the building, so I don't know where she went, but...
After the way I got started, I don't blame her, I guess.
Well, we're just about set to go as heat race number 1 is 3 laps in, and the Can-Am Speedway Bob Johnson Auto Group pace truck peels off the speedway in turn number 3. Dan Bichard, Tyler Meeks once again. We'll look at Mike LeClaire off of turn number 4. We're back to green. And again, Dan Bichard from that inside lane grabs the spot as they work it off the turn. Scott Webb, Tyler Meeks. Boy, they're getting really close out there. Tyler Meeks not going to back down. He drives right around the top side, moves to second. Behind that, Brian Hudson trying to make some moves up on that outside lane, looking for 4th around R.J. Tresetta as they click off lap number 4. 4 down, 4 more to go. Top 3 have pulled away behind them. Brian Hudson trying to make something happen, trying to get by the 21 of Tresetta down the back straightaway. Can't quite do it that time. Behind them, Cameron Black, Derek Webb, and Preston Forbes. A couple of the top drivers in last week's feature go towards the back of the field. In this one, 5 laps are complete. And Dan Bichard continues to show 4th. And Brian Hudson realizing that outside lane is not the place to be as he got freight trained by Cameron Black. Now he's about to get passed by the 66 of Derek Webb. Unless he can find his way back down to the inside lane. It looks like he's got a spot there, but he's still going to stick with that high lane to try to find some bite up there. Meanwhile, 2 laps left to go for the 36 of Dan Bichard, coming to the white flag this time by final time around for Dan Bichard as he brings it back down to line. He's looking to tie R.J. Tressetter and Tyler Meeks for qualifying heat wins this year as he'll work it up into turn number 3 and 4 this time by. And Dan Bichard got a heat win on June the 21st, and 1 week ago, Dan Bichard, 3rd heat win of the season. He takes the victory. Second will be Tyler Meeks, Scott Webb, 3rd, R.J. Tressetter and Cameron Black. The top 5, Derek Webb, Preston Forbes, and Brian Hudson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for the 36 of Dan Bichard? Check, 1, 2, there we go. We got our amp back, finally, as heat race number 2. Ready to go. Jamie's got the call.
All right, qualifying heat number 2 for the Whitesboro Plow Shop Dirt Car 358 Modifieds, and here's the way it's going to go. On the pole, row number 1 on the inside. We'll go the 27W of Nick Webb out of Brownville. On the outside, we'll go the number 39 of Ryan Bartlett, Ryan out of Watertown. Row number 2 on the inside, we'll go the 74, the second generation driver Luke Fuller out of Edwards. And on the outside, scheduled to go will be the 3M, I believe it is, of Frank Macon. Frank Macon in the 3M. Inside row number 3, we'll go the 49 of Billy Dunn out of Watertown. And on the outside, the 7S of Sean Shaw out of Philly. Inside the next row, the 31 of Lance Willicks out of Threeson. On the outside, the 19 of Tim Fuller out of Watertown. And then the 38J out of Brockville, Ontario, that's Jared Herbison. Green flag is out, we're racing. And it's Nick Webb in a whole lot of hurry. Takes over the number 1 spot. Leads by about 3 car lengths. Luke Fuller in there for the number 2 spot. And here's Dunn moving up to the inside. Billy Dunn and Ryan Bartlett going at it for the number 3 qualifying spot. As they come off the turn, it's still Webb out in front in that 27W. Luke Fuller's right there in second. Billy Dunn's back there in third. Ryan Bartlett is fourth. Tim Fuller has worked his way up to fifth. Lance Willicks is back there in sixth. Around they come off that number 4 turn and starting to spread it out a little bit is the 27W with Nick Webb. Nick with about a 6 car length lead over Luke Fuller in the 74. And on the outside, Billy Dunn trying to make a move. Billy up on the top side of the racetrack. For some it didn't work, but it seems to be working for Dunn. Trying to take that number 2 spot away from Luke Fuller. Fuller's still back there in second. Dunn running in third. Bartlett is back there fourth. Tim Fuller is fifth. And here's Sean Shaw trying to make a move. Shaw gets the inside of Fuller and takes over the number 5 qualifying spot. Halfway mark is out. Nick Webb is right there in front. Fuller's back there in second. Billy Dunn still trying the outside part of that racetrack, trying to gain on Fuller, that number 2 slot. Ryan Bartlett back there in fourth. Sean Shaw has taken over the number 5 qualifying spot. Tim Fuller sits in sixth. Lance Willicks is seventh. Frank Macon is in that 21 car back there. I called it as a 3M, but he's in the 21M. As they come off the turn, still in front with 2 to go and a commanding lead for Nick Webb of the 27W. Fuller still sits there in second. Billy Dunn is back there third. Quite the battle going on for fourth, fifth, sixth, as Ryan Bartlett trying to hold off Sean Shaw and the 19 of Tim Fuller. Around they come. White flag is out this time around, and it is still Webb way up in front. An impressive run by Nick Webb out of Brownville, New York. Luke Fuller is right there, the number 2 slot. Billy Dunn is second. Shaw up on the inside of Ryan Bartlett. Ryan says no way, as he stays in the number 4 spot. Sean right there Shaw right there in the number 5 spot. Checkered flag is out. Webb will win it. And it's a big run to the line. But I think Luke Fuller got second. Billy Dunn is third. Ryan Bartlett gets fourth. And rounding out the top 5 will be Sean Shaw in the 7S out of Philadelphia. Ladies and gentlemen, quite a convincing win. How about a nice hand for the 27W out of Brownville, New York?
7S.
First qualifying heat for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman coming out of the Speedway, and once again, here's Tim Balls.
Thank you very much, Jamie, as the 358 Modifieds heading back to the pits, and they'll twist on their race cars to get them lined up and ready to go come feature time as we get our first look at the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. 3 heats rolling trackside as they work their way on out. Going to be led by the 33 of Alan McDonald as we get the lineup adjusted here. Alan McDonald on the pole in the 33 alongside of the 18G of Justin Gadbaugh. Row number 2, Frank Sibley in the 92 with the 1D of Paul DeRutter. Row number 3 is going to find Keegan Nyer on the inside of the 34K alongside of Eric Nyer in the 34. Both drivers had top 5 finishes last week. Final row, it's Xavier Andrews in the 0, and last week's feature winner, finally. He said in victory lane, he says, I finally finished a race here at Can-Am. That's Dave Rogers aboard car number 44. And last week he had the feature win, obviously, but it came a little bit of an expense. Spit the drive shaft out of the car coming to the checkered flag. And we all held our breath for a minute as the field went by, but everybody was good. Rogers is back, drive shaft is in place, green flag is out, and we're racing. As Justin Gadbaugh, he'll fire from the top side of the racetrack. He'll grab the lead. McDonald back there to second. Frank Sibley making a move for third here early on. Gets by Paul DeRutter. And Dave Rogers has picked up 3 spots already. He started tail on the field, and he's working on Paul DeRutter for the 4th spot. Trying to get by, couldn't quite get there, though. His lap number 1 goes in the record books with Justin Gadbaugh in front. Sibley now to the 2nd spot, getting around Alan McDonald as McDonald loses the 3 position to the 1 of Paul DeRutter down the back straightaway. In the meantime, the 34 of Eric Nyer picking up some spots, just got back around Dave Rogers for position. Now he gets by Alan McDonald, so Eric Nyer on the charge here in the early going as he working lap number 2 of this 8-lap heat event. First of 3 on the docket for the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman, and Eric Nyer keeps charging forward. Nyer now to the 3 spot as they head up into turn number 3 and 4. In the meantime, Justin Gadbaugh enjoying about a 3-car length advantage. Frank Sibley right there with him now as they come back down across the stripe, this time by working lap number 3 of this 8-lap heat event. As it is still Gadbaugh in control. Frank Sibley there for second. Both drivers looking for their first heat wins of the season. Eric Nyer looking for his 5th heat win on the year as they work it across the line, this time by halfway home. 4 down, 4 more to go. It's Gadbaugh, Sibley, and Eric Nyer, the top 3. Dave Rogers still there in 4th. Xavier Andrews rounds out the top 5. Both of those drivers came from the back of the field in this one. Both started in row number 4. Now they find themselves in the top 5 in the late going. We got 3 to go for Gadbaugh as he brings it down across the line. The 92 of Sibley right there in his tire tracks, trying to figure out a way to run him down as the Natural Bridge native works his way up off of turn number 2 with about 4 car lengths now over Sibley as Eric Nyer, Dave Rogers, and Xavier Andrews round out your top 5. Paul DeRutter, Keegan Nyer, and Alan McDonald complete the field. 2 to go for Justin Gadbaugh. Natural Bridge, New York sets it up on that bottom side of the racetrack. Frank Sibley there for position number 2, trying to run him down. Eric Nyer right there in 3rd. Eric started back in position number 6 and has worked his way to 3rd. White flag in the air. Gadbaugh swings it wide off the turn, allowing Sibley to close the gap down the front straightaway. We got the white flag in the air. Final time for Justin Gadbaugh into turn number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Gadbaugh still holding about a 3.5 or 4 car length advantage down the back straightaway. Checkered flag is in the air, and the win will go to Justin Gadbaugh as he swings it across the line. First heat win of the season for Gadbaugh. Second will be Sibley. Eric Nyer to 3rd. Dave Rogers, Xavier Andrews, Paul DeRutter, Keegan Nyer, and Alan McDonald. So how about it for the 18 of Justin Gadbaugh? Heat race number 1 of 3 just in the record books. That fast, Jamie Davis, and I'll give you the call heat race number 2 if you want it.
It sounds good to me.
There you go.
Race number 2, qualifying heat number 2 for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman coming out onto the Speedway. On the pole, row number 1 on the inside, will go the 7D of Dustin Hutton. Dustin out of Central Square. On the outside, will go the 35D of Dylan Moore. Dylan out of Elgin, Ontario. Row number 2 on the inside will go the 17 of Owen Nyer. Owen out of Carthage. And on the outside will go the 91 of Josh Rayholm. Josh out of Clayton. Row number 3 on the inside will go the number 2 of Taylor Dockstader out of Philadelphia, New York. And on the outside, the number 52, the Power of Kingston, Jessica Power. Row number 4 on the inside will go the 62 of Jonathan Murphy. Jonathan out of Carthage. And on the outside, the Fox 28 of Tyler Stevenson. Tyler out of Watertown. Set to go, qualifying heat number 2 for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman. Off that number 4 turn they come, and green flag is out, and we're racing. And 3 of them across the track for second out there, but Moore finds that number 2 spot by himself, but up in front, Dustin Hutton in that 7D jumps out in front by about a 5-car length lead, and hustling on the outside is Josh Rayholm. Rayholm trying to go up to that number 2 spot on the high side of the racetrack. Side by side with Dylan Moore for that number 2 qualifying spot. They're bunched together for third as well. Quite a race going on. For second back to 6th, as both Rayholm and Dylan Moore are fighting it out, as Dustin Hutton is trying to check out on the rest of the field. He's opened up about a 8-car length lead over his nearest competitor, who is Dylan Moore in the 35D. Josh Rayholm is right there. Josh continues to try the outside part of that racetrack, and he may have it this time around. Rayholm will jump into the number 2 spot. Moore will drop back to second. Owen Nyer is right back there to 4th. And Tyler Stevenson rounds out the top 5. Around they come, halfway side is out. A commanding lead for Dustin Hutton out there. Rayholm still sits there in second. Moore is back there in third. Owen Nyer sits there in 4th. Tyler Stevenson is 5th. Jessica Power is back there in 6th. Off the number 4 turn they come. To complete lap number 5, and it is still Hutton out in front. As we said, about a 10-car length lead. Rayholm is all by himself in the number 2 spot. Then a gap of 10 again back to Dylan Moore. And the battle on for 4th is Stevenson wants to go up to the number 4 qualifying spot. 2 to go for Dustin Hutton out of Central Square. Moore rides back there in second, or in third. And Stevenson tried to get to the inside and ran on a racetrack, and it cost him a couple of spots. Coming around, white flag. Dustin Hutton out in front. Josh Rayholm still sits there in second. And the battle for the number 3 spot is on, as Owen Nyer finds a bite on the outside part of the racetrack, and he'll take over the number 3 qualifying spot. Moore drops back to 4th. Stevenson 5th. Checkered flag coming out. Dustin Hutton will win this one. Josh Rayholm will get second. Owen Nyer will finish in third. Quite a battle for that 4th spot, but Dylan Moore will hold on, and Tyler Stevenson will round out the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice hand for the 7D out of Central Square, New York, for Dustin Hutton. Third qualifying event coming out on the Speedway for the Bob Johnson Dirt Car Sportsman. And once again, here's Tim Baltz.
Thanks very much, Jamie. I was ready. I was ready the first time he handed me the microphone at Mohawk in 2001. And I was scared to death when I went through the first modified heat lineup. Yeah, I was scared. I was petrified. Well, right now, heat race number 3 for the Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman on track, and it's going to feature Stevie Roberts in the 5R. Alongside of him is going to be the 621 of Trevor Gibbons, another Carthage, New York native. Row number 2, another Carthage native. That's the 32 of Ryan Shanahan, along with the 707 of Greg Brinklow. Row 3, the plate leader, Fear the Beard, Mike Fowler in the 410, alongside of Brendan Moore in the 35B. Final row, it's going to be the 18 of Gavin Isley, 8 heat wins and 9 tries this year in the 18, and the 64 of Tyler Corcoran, 4-time defending track champion. We're ready to go off of turn number 4. Leclerc looks him over and does not like it. Leclerc says,
No start.
we're going to try it all over again for heat race number 3. The Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. First heat on the line now. We're scheduled to go next for the Sundance Leisure Thunder Cars. Again, 50-50 tickets are on sale. If you haven't got your tickets yet, get them now. More the play, bigger it pays. Only costs $1. Give the girls a holler. Upstate Elite Cheer. Yeah, you can make a little extra cash. And what did they say? You may walk away with a little more money than what you came here with. So that's cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. See, I learned a lot from you, Jamie. Set to go off of turn number 3 and 4. Green lights are on. Mike Leclerc like that start a lot better, and so did Trevor Gibbons. He's going to shoot to the high lane. Roberts says, I don't think so. I'm just going to take it back here on the bottom, and does just that. It's Stevie Roberts to the lead. A look at Mike Fowler, goes from 6th to 4th, challenging for 3rd. Mike Fowler on the move here in lap number 1. He's looking for position number 3 around Ryan Shanahan, and he's going to get it. Lap 1 in the books, and it's Roberts in control. But for how much longer? 6:21 of Trevor Gibbons nipping at his heels. 4:10 of Mike Fowler has passed 4 cars in 1 lap, and now he's trying to get after the top 2. As they work in turn number 3 and 4, Roberts going to keep it glued to the bottom side of the racetrack as they complete lap number 2, this time by Roberts in control. Fowler on the move again. He gets alongside of Trevor Gibbons into turn number 1 and 2, grabs a spot away. Now he's looking for the lead on Roberts coming down the back straightaway. Mike Fowler is on a tear. Fowler started back in position number 5 and makes his way to the lead as we complete lap number 3, this time by Fowler, your new leader, as they come back to the stripe. Roberts still there in 2nd. Trevor Gibbons, Ryan Shanahan, Tyler Cork on the top 5 as Brendan Moore, Gavin Isley, Greg Brinklow. A lot of strong cars at the back of the field there, as right now Shanahan and Gibbons made some contact that opened the door for Tyler Corcoran to scoot on through. So Tyler Corcoran now up into the top 5 here. Shanahan and Brendan Moore, they're going at it for 5th and 6th with Isley and Brinklow completing it. But Mike Fowler, clearly the class of the field right now, that 410 machine, working his way down the back straightaway. The Fulton, New York native ran the Dirt Car Sportsman Central Series race at the Lane of Legends Raceway last Saturday night and had a strong finish, coming home 3rd at the line behind winner Nick Root, who won his first career series race a week ago. In the meantime, no, Mike Fowler is checked out. He's driving away once again. Battle still on for 2nd. Gibbons and Roberts have been at each other all race long for 2nd and 3rd, as Roberts not going to give up that position easily. He's going to fight off the 621 of Gibbons. That's going to open the door for Tyler Corcoran to sneak through. So Corcoran now to position number 3, and he's working on Roberts for 2nd, and it looks like he may have him here off of turn number 2. Tyler Corcoran to the runner-up spot. Long way to go to catch the race leader, though. Mike Fowler off of turn number 4. White flag in the air for Mike Fowler. Tyler Corcoran all by himself in the runner-up spot. Roberts still in position number 3, having a strong run tonight. Trevor Gibbons, Brendan Moore, Gavin Isley, and Ryan Shanahan and Greg Brinklow making more contact at the back of the field. But right now, nobody's going to catch Mike Fowler. He's got the lead, he's got the win in heat race number 3. 2nd spot will go to Tyler Corcoran. Stevie Roberts brings it home in 3rd. Brendan Moore and Gavin Isley, your top 5. Trevor Gibbons, Greg Brinklow, and Ryan Shanahan will complete the rest of the field, and that will do it for heat race number 3. The Bob Johnson Auto Group Dirt Car Sportsman. Boy, a lot of good race cars. One heat for the Sundance Leisure Thunder Cars. And Jamie Davis, you recognize that driver on the pole, don't you?
I sure do. He got his start at Watertown Speedway a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
But he's still at it. The number 41 of Terry Gardner out of Watertown. On the outside will go the 22 of Tony Frazo. Frazo out of Evans Mills. Next row on the inside will go the 94 of O.J. White. O.J. out of Watertown. And on the outside, the 22J out of Carthage, New York. That's Jared Gilson. The next row on the inside will go the 26R, Damian Beckler. Damian out of Sackets Harbor. And on the outside will go the 111J of Anthony St. Mary Jr. out of Redwood. The next row on the inside will go the number 60 of Francis White out of Ogdensburg. And on the outside, the 61 of Lyle Robinson. Lyle out of Clayton, New York. It appears that Terry Gardner is selected to go to the rear of this heat. All right, here they come off that number 4 turn. It's Thundercar action. And Tony Frazo gets the lead. Quite the battle going on for the number 2 spot. O.J. White trying to get to the outside of Jared Gilson. And White trying to get to the outside and can't quite do it. They come off the turn for the first time, and it's still the 22 of Frazo out in front. Caution coming out. We've got a car slowing on the back stretch, and it is the 60 of Francis White out of Ogdensburg. So the 60 slows to a stop over there. Francis been running into all kinds of mechanical difficulty here the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on there, Tim.
I don't know. It's
highly unusual for this car.
Yeah, some sort of gremlins with that race car. Of course, last year he was lights out. He was track champion last year. 8 wins last year between here and Mohawk. When he was not running here on Friday nights, he went to Mohawk and stole some cash and some trophies from up there, where he is a former track champion as well. Track champion here last year, currently second at points. This is not what he needs going into the feature tonight.
No, and the car has had a number of mechanical difficulties this year that have really plagued him, and I'm sure Francis is getting sick of that.
Yeah, definitely. Got a quick birthday announcement to pass along too, Jamie.
Oh, great.
Yeah, right there. Happy birthday going out to one Justin Nyer. Over 35, we'll say. Happy birthday,
Boy, you're nice
Justin.
to people.
Oh, yes, I know.
I can't wait when it's my birthday and see what you'll say.
Happy 21st, Jamie.
God bless you. God bless you. Well, up in front is the 22 of Tony Frazo. He's had his share of good luck in this season. And he will try to hold that spot on this restart, but he's got a couple of quick ones right behind him. Jared Gilson has been right in the hunt there. And so has O.J. White. So we'll see what happens on this restart. For the 22 of Frazo out of Evans Mills. He'll bring him around. Starter looks him over. We got a green flag, and we're off and racing again. Frazo gets that lead. And 3 of them across the track for that number 3 spot. Trying to get to the high side of the speedway is Lyle Robinson, and he was shot out of a cannon on that restart. And Robinson trying to go up to the number 3 qualifying spot out there using the outside part of this speedway. Around they come. It's Fraser way to the outside part of the racetrack. And Damian Beckler wants to take advantage of that on the inside. The 61 of Lyle Robinson, who has made the biggest move so far, is up to the number 3 qualifying spot. Around they come. Frazo to the outside of this racetrack once again. And that gives an edge to the 26R of Damian Beckler. And Beckler will take over the number 1 qualifying spot. Frazel way to the outside part of the speedway, and Robinson moves up to the number 2 qualifying spot. So Tony now ducking that car back down to the inside again, said, I'm not going out there anymore. But it is Damian Beckler out in front with 2 to go. Lyle Robinson still sits there in the number 2 spot. Frazel is back there in 3rd with 4 complete. Beckler trying to hang on. Robinson to the outside again, and that outside part of the racetrack is really working well for Lyle Robinson as he gets up high on the speedway to try to get by the leader in the 26R of Damian Beckler. He may run out of time here. Checkered flag will be coming out this time around. Who's it gonna be? Beckler off the turn. He still has that lead. Robinson goes to the outside part of the racetrack, but it'll be Beckler the winner. Robinson will get the number 2 spot. Tony Frazel will get 3rd.